What is going on, guys? My name is DJ Miles, and I'm back with Infinity Joe with part 2 of our anime of the decades, our honorable mentions. And before we begin with this video, if you can go ahead and do me a favor and like this video and subscribe to my channel for more anime content down the road. And now, Joe, let's go ahead and begin. And I'm going to start off with Dragonball Super. Let me say this. I don't think Dragon Ball Super does anything groundbreaking, but the fact that Dragon Ball ended almost a decade ago, and the request for there to be more of it, GT doesn't count. I think it speaks volume to what Akira Toriyama just created. And Dragon Ball Z, I will consider the godfather of anime that made anime relevant in America. This is, I think, a show near and dear to a lot of people's hearts.
Whether you love or hate Dragon Ball, you still gotta respect what it is. It's one of those tent poles of anime as a whole, or at least for everyone from like the 80s onward, but it's still one of those things. I gotta pay respects to it regardless. Alright, I just have one more to talk about, and that's a 2014 series called Shirobako. I will say it might be a hard sell for a lot of people, because this is more of a show that if you love anime and kind of have like an interest in knowing how it's made, this is a good show to check out for it. The simple plot is that it's basically an anime about a studio that makes anime and the people that work in it. It gives you some insight on how things are made and makes you even appreciate things, because they have some horror stories that I'm sure the people who made this were pulling from real life experience from, of like how there can be some things that could go horribly wrong when working on a show. First half of the series is them working on their own original anime show, and then the later half is them like working and adapting popular manga in the universe of the show. It's still something worth checking out, and it is a huge ensemble cast, but they do a really good job in letting you know all these people and just every facet of the anime industry.
People, go ahead and check it out. And now let's talk about our best of. This is the anime that inspired me to do this YouTube channel, and it is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I mean, it's not only one of the most creative animes of all time. In terms of memes, this is anime gold. Other popular animes reference JoJo. I think it's a testament to how bizarre this adventure truly is. And I don't know about you, but I've never even seen a show that introduced a power scaling and then they just cans it forever and say, nah, I don't like this. We're going to do something else.
For sure, man. Especially because the beauty of the series is how it just changes so much. After each story arc, we are introduced to a new cast of characters and how they each have their own individual stories. Like, yes, there's some similar themes of, yep, we got to go and fight these people and we got these battles, but how things change off from like being kind of like a Castlevania style, like let's go kill a vampire, to Indiana Jones style, let's go globetrotting as we find this ancient relic, to later being, hey, we got to track down a serial killer that's hiding in the city. And also to that fact, it's one of those things, even if you're not digging a particular story arc, well, there's always like a new thing around the corner to check out later. So I've always found it consistently entertaining regardless.
I mean, if there's any anime I want people to watch in this list, it's probably going to be this one.
All right, another one of my best of was the 2018's Devilman Crybaby. This one came out in Netflix, and for a lot of folks, this was also a very divisive show. This is one of those shows, it gets brutal, it gets violent, and it gets really dark near towards the end. It's either gonna work for you or it's not. It goes some places that might not be comfortable for people, but I highly appreciated this. And oddly enough too, like Devilman is just one of those properties that Japan really loves, because this is technically its fourth or fifth adaptation, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, it still works out pretty well, and I just particularly love the animation style and the directorial choices that Masaka Yuasa did for this.
Okay, so now let's go ahead and talk about My Hero Academia. My Hero Academia will introduce a new way for people into this medium and genre, I think in ways that Dragon Ball couldn't.
I feel like the whole concept of being that this is a superhero genre, it feels more universal for a lot of folks, even if they're not into anime. Just the emotional investment you get out of it, like even when it's just the second episode, as All Might tells Midoriya that you can be a hero too. and Midoriya just breaks down crying. Like, even you yourself seeing All Might say that to him, it's like, yeah, I believe it just as much as that kid right now. It does follow a lot of the shonen tropes, but there is still like so many things that they do differently. Like, Midoriya might start off as the most powerful, but how he himself can't even utilize that power, and watching him grow and learn not only just how he can control the powers, but also start thinking about how he's gonna approach things in the future.
This show was actually called, for a lot of people, the next Naruto. When Naruto ended, a lot of people were kind of clamoring on what was going to be the next thing. The reason why My Hero Academia might do it better than Naruto, and we'll see if it nails the landing, they make all the side characters relevant and everyone has a chance to shine.
Alright, so going from the high-flying adventures of superhero, let's talk about ping pong. I know this one is probably going to be the biggest head-scratcher for a lot of folks. What I'm talking about is the 2014 ping pong. This one as well was a huge surprise for me, and the art style is going to be a turnoff for a lot of people. Also, if you're not into sports anime like I am, honestly, this one I didn't even see coming. I was first drawn in because the director Masaki Yuasa, who worked on Devilman Crybaby, had worked on this prior, and I was interested to see what he did with it. A story about friendship and having like one friend trying to push and get the other one to excel more at what he's already passionate about, even when he's starting to feel like he's like losing it. Where this story ends up going, I was really surprised on how much I enjoyed it. And so the animation and the art style might be a turnoff for folks, but honestly, I kind of enjoy how it has this realistic ugliness to it. It kind of makes it more endearing. It makes it kind of feel a little grounded, even when it does get into some moments where they seem to like hyper exaggerate some of the ping pong tournaments. But this really works very well for it.
And now let's go ahead and talk about our last one, and this is actually on your list, so I'll let you take it from here too.
This has been my favorite show from the past decade, and that is Mob Psycho 100. We weren't necessarily numbering things, but if we were, I would have to say Mob Psycho is like my #1 favorite. This is also by the same creator of One Punch Man, and I feel like a lot of people seem to overlook it. To me, this show has a lot more to chew on narratively than what One Punch Man has to offer, and I don't mean any disrespect to One Punch Man, but Mob has like this endearing quality, and it has such emotional beats to it, particularly when you go in from like season 1 to season 2. It is a little bit of a deconstruction and parody and poking fun at other genres. Just its overall message, like season 1 goes off with this like mindset, this character Mob being the most powerful being in the world, and he just lives a very simple, mundane life, and he encounters all these people who believe themselves to be like, well, I'm special because I got powers, that means I'm better than everyone else. And here Mob is like, well, why does that make you any special than someone who can play a violin? You're not better just because you got powers. And how that becomes like a driving theme for it, following up the second season with an overall message on how building bonds with people really helps strengthen you than just devoting yourself from others. Like I said, season 2, it gets very emotional for it, of just seeing the character of Mob grow and everyone around him growing as well. Even when it's things like his somewhat shady mentor Reagan, who starts off as just a con man claiming to be a psychic, to seem like, oh no, this guy actually cares about Mob, almost like his surrogate son in a way, and how later on he's even like coming to notice that Mob helped him improve himself over the years as well. And not only that though, but this just has so many great characters. Like, you might have seen them before, but the Body Improvement Club members, they are the best like group of sidekicks that I have ever seen in an anime. These are people I wish were real to hang out with. I would say #1 with a bullet, Mob Psycho 100, and people, please check this one out.
Guys, and that was the end of our video, but let me know what we missed in the comments down below. Did you like this list? Did you hate this list? Do you agree with us? Do you think Mob Psycho is the #1 definitive anime of this decade? Is it My Hero Academia? Is it Vinland Saga? Is it JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? Let me know in the comments down below. Once again, like this video and subscribe to my channel for more anime content. My name is DJ Miles.
And I'm Infinity Joe.
And as I always say, to be continued, take care.